Before watching the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and enable bell notification to never miss an update from us.
Hello everyone, welcome to Entry. I, Deepani Bhardwaj, welcome you all again, and today we are going to discuss Quant's previous year's questions. So let's start with our first question. The first question says that a man invested 15% of his salary income in LIC and the remaining amount he gave to his mother. Her mother spent 10% of it in the household expenditure and thus she saved rupees 30,600. Then find the month salary of the man. See, for these type of question the best part is just take how much part was invested or how much part was spent. So here we know that 15% of the amount was given in LIC. That means how much amount is left now? That means 100 minus 15, that is 85% of amount is left, isn't it? Now, out of those particular remaining amount, her mother spent 10% of it. So what was the remaining amount? The remaining amount was 85%. So her mother spent how much? Her mother spent 10% of it, that is 10% of 85, which is equal to what? Which is equal to 8.5%. Fine. Now, she has spent the 8.5%. That means now remaining amount is what? Now, the amount that is remaining is 85 minus 8.5%, isn't it? So 85 minus 8.5% is going to give me what? It is 76.5%. Now we are told that thus she saved rupees 30,600 rupees. This means this 76.5% is equal to what? It is equal to 30,600. This means 100% amount would be what? 100% amount would be 30,600 divided by 76.5 into 100, which would be equal to what? Which is equal to 40,000. And what was asked? We were asked, you have to find the monthly salary of the man. So the monthly salary of the man is rupees 40,000. Is there any option regarding that? Yeah, option number D is there. Hence, option number D is correct. So for these type of question, use this approach because this approach is the best one. Now, let's move on to the next question. Next question is, in a city, 68% of the population is literate, in which the ratio of number of males and the number of females is 11:6. And if the number of illiterate males to the number of illiterate females ratio is 3:1, find the ratio of literate male female to the illiterate female. Now, they have already told us that how much percent is literate? 68% population is literate, isn't it? So they have told us that the literacy rate or the literate percentage is equal to what? Literate percentage is equal to 68%. Now they have also told that out of these literate people, male and females ratio is what? Males and females ratio is, just a second, males and females ratio is 11:6. That is this one. So its ratio is 11:6. Now, we already know that it can be equal to, because total was 68, isn't it? So this means that here we can write it as 68 upon 11 plus 6 into 11 upon 68 upon 11 plus 6 into 6, and it would be equal to what? It must be equal to 44%. Fine. Why? Because we know that its ratio is going to be 44 upon 24%. Why? Because we have done nothing. The total literacy rate was 68. 11:6 ratio was given of male and female. First, we have taken it for the males. Here we have taken for the females, just as this one. And when you will cancel it out, you will get 44% upon 24%, that is ratio would be what? Ratio is 44:24. Now, they have asked the ratio of literate female to the illiterate female. Okay, so what we can do now? We already know that if we have taken this for literate, we can do similar way for the illiterate as well. So for illiterate, what ratio would be there? 100 minus 68, and 100 minus 68 is what? 100 minus 68 is 32%, and here ratio is also given that for the illiteracy, male is to female ratio is 3:1. So we can do the same thing again here, that is 32 upon 3 plus 1 into 3 first divided by 32 upon 3 plus 1 into 1, which would be equal to 24 percentage is to 8 percentage. So it would be 24:8, that is equal to 3:1. Fine. So we know that the required ratio of the literate female to the illiterate female would be what? It would be equal to 3:1. Got it? Now we can move on to the next question. So the option number C is correct. Next question says that A is 1.5 times more efficient than B and C is 2 times efficient than A. A and B take 7.5 days to complete the work. How many days will B and C take to complete the work together? Now, for this type of question, what we know, we can calculate this question easily using the efficiency trick. So the efficiency of A is 1.5 times more than B, isn't it? Now, if we calculate the efficiency ratio now, if we calculate the efficiency ratio of A is to B, this means what? This means it is going to be 1 plus 1.5 upon 1. That is, it is equal to what? It would be equal to 2.5:1, or rather, if I multiply by 2 on both these sides, it is going to give me 5:2. Fine. From this, our calculation becomes easy because this decimal part is removed. Now, if I talk about the efficiency ratio of A, is to C, it is equal to 1:2. Fine. So I can do one thing, I can again take it in the ratio of 5, so we can multiply 5 on both the sides, so it would be 5:10. Fine. This came how? Because we are given that C is 2 times efficient than A. Fine. So according to that, A is to C is given 5:10. Now, efficiency of A is to B is to C would be what? So efficiency of A is to B is to C would be what? It is 5:2:10. From here it is clear. Now we are asked how many days will B and C take to complete the work together. So for completing the work A and B together, for A and B in 7.5 days is equal to what? Work completed by A and B would be 5 plus 2 into 7 into 1/2, which would be equal to what? It is equal to 52 days and 1/2 days. That is, total work that would be completed would be what? It would be 52.5 units. Now time taken by B and C. Time taken by B and C to complete this work would be what? It would be 52.5 upon 2 plus 10. Fine. So it would be equal to what? It would be equal to 35/8, or rather I can say 4 3/8 days. So is there any option that is 4 3/8 days? 4 3/8 days? No option is there. 4 3/8 days. And hence, since 4 3/8 days is not there, so hence option number E would be correct. Fine. Let's move on to the next question. Next question is, in an exam, if 7 marks given for right answer, 4 marks deducted for the wrong answer, and total marks given to a student is 263, then how many right answers given by the student if total attempts is 58? Now, we can do one thing. We can assume that the number of questions, let x number of questions are correct. Fine. So we have assumed that x number of questions are correct. So total marks obtained would be what? So total marks obtained would be equal to what? Total marks obtained would be 7x minus 4 marks deducted for wrong minus 4 into total number was 58 minus x, and it is equal to given what? 263. Fine. So if we calculate it out, 7x minus 58 into 4 plus 4x is equal to 263. This means 11x is equal to 495. So x would be equal to what? X will be equal to 45. Fine. So what we were asked? We were asked how many right answers are given by the students. Oh, we have already taken that x number of questions are correct. That means x number of questions are correct. That is 45 are correct. So hence option number B is correct. Fine. Let's move on to the next question. Next question is, difference between circumference of a circle and diameter is 90 centimeter. If radius of circle B is 7 centimeter less than A, then find the area of circle B. You already know that what is circumference. See, circumference is perimeter of this particular part of this circle. Actually, it is the sum of the boundary. But how do we calculate it? We have a formula for calculating the circumference, and that is 2 pi r, isn't it? Now, the difference between the circumference of two circles, circle A and circle B, is given. So what we can do? We can write one thing, what? Circumference formula, that is 2 pi r. The difference between circumference of a circle and diameter. Oh, for the next, diameter is there, and we know that diameter is equal to what? It is twice of radius. So 2 into r is what? It is 90. Okay. Now we can put the value of pi, that is 22 by 7 into r minus 2r is equal to 90. If we take 2 common from here, so it would be 22 by 7 r minus r is equal to 45, and here if I take r common, so it would be 22 by 7 minus 1 is equal to 45, and from here I am going to get the value of r, that is 21 centimeter. What they have asked? They have asked you have to calculate the area of circle B, isn't it? Since they have told us to calculate the area of circle B, and they have also told us radius of circle B is 7 centimeter less than A. So it is of radius is of circle A. That means radius of circle B would be what? Radius of circle B is going to be 7 centimeter less, that is 21 minus 7, which is equal to what? Which is equal to 14 centimeter. And we clearly know what is the area of circle. So area of circle B would be equal to pi r square, that is equal to 22 by 7 into 14 into 14, and this is going to give us what? 7 2s are 14, 14 to 28, 28 cross 22 is going to give me 616 centimeter square. So is there any option? Yeah, option number A is correct. Fine. Let's move on to the next question. Next question is, the ratio of the principal and the final amount is 5:8 on the simple interest in 5 years. What is the rate of interest? Now, we can do one thing. We can assume principal as 5x, therefore amount would be 8x, and this is we have taken because they have already given us the principal, and the ratio between the principal and final amount is 5:8. So if I am taking principal as 5x, that means amount would be 8x, isn't it? Now, so what would be the interest on it? If amount is 8x and the principal was 5x, that means interest is what? Interest is 8x minus 5x, that is how much? That is 3x. Fine. Now we know that what is the formula for simple interest? The formula for simple interest is P into R into T over 100. So what is P here? So P is, or rather we can write P into R into T whole over 100. Simple interest is what? Simple interest is 3x. Principal is 5x. Rate we don't know, but the time that they have given is of 5 years. Fine. Divided by 100. From x we can cancel out x. So rate is equal to what? Rate is equal to 300 upon 25. That means rate is what? Rate is 12%. Fine. So is there 12%? Yeah. Option number B is correct. Fine. Let's move on to the next question. Next question is, oh, the pattern has changed. The next question is, in the following question there are two equations. Solve the equations and answer the accordingly. X square is given 196 and another equation of y is given, that is y square minus 26y plus 169 is equal to 0. Now we know that how we are going to solve it, because we know 196 is the square of what? It is the square of 14. That means x value is going to be plus 14 and minus 14. If we talk about this equation, then if you will solve this equation, y square minus 26y plus 169 is equal to 0. This means y's value is going to be 13 and 13. That means both the values are positive 13s. So we know that you can't tell the comparison between them. That is, you can't say that y is always greater, y is always smaller, because one time you can see that x value is greater, one time x is lesser than it. This means no relation can be built between them. Fine. Next. Now the equation is 2x square minus 7x plus 5 is equal to 0. 2y square plus 4y minus 6 is equal to 0. This means for this part you can write it as 2x square minus 2x minus 5x plus 5 is equal to 0. This means 2x into x minus 1 minus 5 into x minus 1 is equal to 0. This means x minus 1 into 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 5 by 2. Fine. If we are talking about the next equation, this equation is 2y square plus 4y minus 6 is equal to 0. And if we will solve it out, we are going to get 2y plus 6y minus 2y minus 6 is equal to 0. This means it would be 2y into y plus 3, and it is again going to be 2 minus 2 into y plus 3 is equal to 0. This means 2y minus 2 into y plus 3 is equal to 0, which is going to give me y is equal to 1 and y is equal to minus 3. Now I can compare these two. Fine. So here we can see that x and y are equal, but in this sense y is smaller, isn't it? So in one condition we can say that either x would be equal to y or x is going to be greater than y, isn't it? And hence we can say that x is greater than equal to y. So is there any of the equation? Yeah, option number C is correct. Next question is x cube is equal to 343 and y square minus 196 is equal to 0. So we directly know that from here x value is plus 7 and from here y's value is either plus 14 or minus 14. And in this condition we know that once you will check that x is smaller, and when you are comparing it with, then it is larger. This means once x is smaller, once x is larger, this means no relation can be established between them, and hence option number E would be correct. Next question. Option here x square minus 5x plus 4 is given equal to 0. 4y square minus 7y plus 3 is equal to 0. So when you factorize it and you will get the value of x is plus 4 and plus 1. But if you will solve this, the value of y is going to be either 1 or 3 by 4. That is, it will come 4 by 4, that is 1. Now you can easily compare them, isn't it? When you will easily compare them from here, you are able to understand that while comparing this, x is greater, isn't it? And here x and y is equal. So here you can assume that, or you know that x is greater than y, greater than equal to y. So option number C would be correct. Let's take next question. Next question is 3x square plus 18x plus 24 is equal to 0. Second is 2y square minus 11y plus 15 is equal to 0. So here I'll tell you one thing. So I have already told you, you already know how to take out factors and solve this out. But for the personal reason that you must not take a lot of time, I have a trick for you. Whenever you see that equation is in such a way that both the constants are positive and any one of them is negative, so the value which is with the negative sign would be greater. So here negative sign is with what? Negative sign is with y. So hence y would be greater than x. So y would be greater than x, and hence option number B is correct. In the similar way, if this part that is constants are negative, if both the constants are negative, without thinking anything, you can directly click on cannot be determined. These are short methods in which within no time, within few seconds, you can just click on the answer. I am again saying, if you see that both the constants are negative, just click on cannot be determined. And for this type of equation, whichever part is negative, that negative part is going to be greater, as here y is having the negative sign and hence y is greater than x. Fine, or rather you can sign it like this. So here option number B is correct. So all these were the important questions which were asked in the examination last time. So in case you have any doubt, comment section is available for you. So please do comment on it, like it and share as much as possible. So thanking you for watching this video. Thanks a lot.